Good morning, or should I say wakey wakey, or better yet, cockerel doodle doo. Today I am joined by my brother, Mr. Ryan Isaacs. Ryan, are you ready?
Let's do this.
Tottenham on tour.
All right. So before we get into this, Ryan, my brother, how are you and how is everything?
I am doing good. Very stressful day at work, but to come home, getting ready to do Cockerel Doodle Doo with my brother right here, Mr. Brian Daigle, I am absolutely buzzing for it.
Oh, do you know what? It's like I said to you what to say at the very, very beginning. What a wonderful way to say it, my brother. So let's get into this. So you were shocked when I just said this, but now you've checked and seen it. Obviously, I only found out recently. We're very fortunate, and should I say Destiny Udogie is very fortunate because he's escaped unhurt in what seems like a very big crash. Now I'm just gonna read what the Daily Mail have reported. And the headline is Tottenham defender Destiny Udogie in horror car crash in Italy, ploughing his Mercedes SUV into a bar at 3 a.m. to cause damage like a bomb went off as the on loan Udinese youngster escapes unharmed. So the article goes on to say Tottenham defender Destiny Udogie has finally. That's finally. I was getting into the rock there. I'm spending too. Finally, the Tottenham defender Destiny Udogie has escaped injury after driving into a bar in Italy, having reportedly lost control of his car. Udogie, who is currently on loan at Serie A side Udinese, crashed his car in the early hours of Thursday morning in Udine. Local reports say the 20-year-old crashed his Mercedes SUV into the bar's terrace with photos of the scene showing damaged tables and umbrellas. The person, I'm not going to try to say his Italian name because I will butcher it, confirmed no one had been hurt in the incident. The newspaper, which is based in Udine, reported that police arrived at 3 a.m. and completed a breathalyzer test on Udogie. Results of the test have not been released. It goes on to say the owner of the bar reportedly said it looks like a bomb has exploded here when seeing the damage, which could amount to around €3,000, which is £2,600. Udinese confirmed that Udogie had been involved in a car accident, but the Serie A side said that the Italian under-21 international trained normally on Thursday. Udogie could face internal disciplinary action from the club over the incident. Regarding the news of the road incident, which last night involved Destiny Udogie driving his car, informs the player has not suffered any consequences and trained regularly with the team. Udinese statement read. So yeah, that is basically the article. Ryan, obviously, I heard about this within the last hour. You heard about this within the last. We've been going 3 minutes.
Yep.
Within the last 10 minutes. So,
Yep.
so what's your thoughts on Destiny and this crash?
My first thoughts are, thank goodness everyone's okay. Nobody's been injured. Nobody's been harmed. Damage can always be repaired. Cars can always be repaired, but lives cannot be repaired. So
Well
good
said.
news is no one has been injured, no one's hurt, and no one's lost any loved ones. My big worry is the fact that the police don't want to announce the breathalyzer results. That does worry me a bit, because if he was under the limit or hadn't been drinking, that would have just been coming out straight away. So I believe we do have a little worry. Hopefully, it doesn't scupper anything in a potential move, even though it's sewn up. But little cracks in clauses and stuff like that might come to fruition, especially if jail time is. I don't know what the laws are in Italy, of course, but they might be extremely harsh on alleged drink driving, I should add.
Yep.
So we're yet to know how things are. The fact that he went to training the next day is a positive, though, because it contradicts what I said. The fact that if he was over the limit, then he would have probably stayed overnight and into the next day to be under supervision by the police and obviously giving statements and everything like that. But the most importantly, no one was injured, no one was hurt. Damage can always be repaired, and Udogie will probably he's 20, would have learned a thing or two about this, not to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, I mean, I can't echo enough what you said and brilliantly said about cars and everything, and damage can be redone and repaired. Sorry, was the word you used, but obviously lives can't. But you know what? The worrying thing for me with this is, why is he out at 3 a.m. in the morning during the season? Listen, I know they have social lives, I know they have lives and whatever. I remember Harry Redknapp saying, like, during the season, it is 9 months where you eat, sleep, breathe, train, everything is football. Everything is football. You're in bed at a reasonable hour, whether it be match day, whether it be a training night, whatever. When you have your summer break at the end of the season, you're free. Go let off that steam that you've worked all hard, all like they do all season, to refrain from eating the wrong things, drinking too much, doing whatever they do, staying out late, go to a disco, go to a club, go to a bar. But don't do it during the season. Now, obviously, we're in the tail end of the season. He's had a sensational season. But for a 20-year-old, I mean, we're not going to talk about Delhi, and I'm not comparing him to Delhi. But and Jack Wilshere was another one that used to go out all the time and whatever. I'm not. Listen, I think he's going to be a fantastic player. And this, like you said, this will be the making. This could be, right, I've been an idiot here. That I can't do, especially when I come to the Premier League. But why? I mean, would you, if you're a Premier League player during the season, be out at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Well, of course, we don't know why he was out at 3 a.m. You don't know.
Yeah, this is true. It could be a family member. Yeah, you're right.
Whether it was drink driving, maybe, and I'm not condoning it, it was an emergency and he was going over the speed limit. So we don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
What caused the crash. I'm just clutching at straws that maybe family member, had to go to hospital. We don't know. But obviously, the same thing, better to get there in one piece than not to get there at all comes to mind, which my mum always tells me. So there are circumstances why footballers and everyone in life would be out at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday. It's an emergency situation. But the one thing that he needs to learn very quickly, that when you come to the Premier League and the media, the English media, and we know what the English media is like.
That's a very good point.
Going back, way back, even 90s, Gaza and everything. They will be onto him now. They will be onto him like that. And what we don't want is bad eggs, bad discipline. Spurs right now have got a few that are on loan, but we've got a few in the dressing room that we know are bad eggs, and we don't want to be bringing in bad eggs. Look, talented player. Hopefully this is just a big, big wake-up call. And just in future, Udogie, if you are listening, just calm down. You're 20 years old. You got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, there's no doubt in his talent. He has had an incredible season in Italy. There's a lot of talk about this guy, and it looks like a purchase that, whether you want to call it a club signing or not, could be I mean, for me, right, I'm sure you agree as well. For me, right now, right here, right now, if this was the first game of the season, of next season, Udogie is my starting left back or left wing back without even. He
starts 100%. The only question that you might say not to start him, and you might want to bed in him slowly, would be to start. Obviously, I personally would keep him when he comes back, and that's Sergio Reguilon in a back four, just to because Reguilon knows the league. He's very good in a back four. He's solid, excellent going forward, can put cross in. So maybe you would start Reguilon the first couple of games and just allow Udogie just that 2-3 weeks of just bedding in, and then obviously he takes over the starting spot.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think he walks straight in. I really do. Even like we've said, if you're young, if you're good enough, you're young enough, whatever the terminology is. But I think this guy has been, and you got to remember, he's doing this in Serie A. Mm-hmm. He's not doing it in like the Portuguese league or the Belgian league or one of the lesser European, with no disrespect, man. He's doing it at a high level, and I think he could have a huge impact. So that's in Udogie covered. But talking about first team players, Spurs released a pitch today. It was just a picture, no video or no interview, but it says Bentancur making progress. Now, 3 words that are literally music to my ears, and probably a lot of Spurs fans, because I don't think there's any doubt, or it's not a coincidence that our midfield and a lot of our play when we were going forward has gone absolutely to pot since this man's been out. What do you say, Ryan?
All I'll say is when we were outside that training ground when these 2 were announced, I said
Yep.
to you that I believe Rodrigo Bentancur would be the one that would shine. Overall, long term, would be the one to shine more over Kulusevski, and that's been proven to be the fact. What we do know about ACL injuries is forget this season. It is 100% a minimum 6-month injury.
Yep.
You are not coming back sooner. Yes, it takes time. People don't really come back the same. He may do. You don't know that, but it is a minimum 6 months injury. So we will definitely not be seeing him until late September at the earliest. I hope he comes back. He's the one that ticks all, makes Spurs tick in that midfield. He's added goals to his game. He's the one this season, before his injury, was, along with Kane, our player of the season. He would run his socks off non-stop. All we can hope is that it's a speedy recovery and he comes back even stronger than ever, because we need him. We need him massively.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree that he did. But the one thing I will say that I disagreed with, you did say what you said, but when we announced these, I knew of Kulusevski. I didn't have a goddamn clue who Bentancur was. I didn't even know what country he represented. I was really like, okay, who's this guy? But my word, some of the performances he put in last season were fantastic. But up until the run of the World Cup, he was on fire. Like that game against Leeds, the Bournemouth game, he was unbelievable, and you could really see his confidence growing. He had settled. He was just a wonderful, wonderful player to watch, and for me, our best midfielder at the club by none. On form before that happened. And the one thing I will say that you said with ACLs, you look at people like Alan Shearer. I know I'm picking it, like, compared to all the people that have had ACLs, you have people that do come back stronger for it. Yeah. And apparently, one thing they did say is when you have done your ACL, it comes back stronger. But it doesn't mean that makes you better. It just means that tendon is...
Yeah, the fact that when you say... Sorry for interrupting. But when I say, you're not the same player.
Exactly. Look at Harry Winks.
It's more in terms of, just the way you feel on the pitch.
Correct.
In your head, your mind, is it going to happen again? If I jump, will I land? Or that's really what it is. You don't necessarily, but if it comes back and his mind is right, then I think we'll see the same player.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. What you got to look at this as well is, like you said, I mean, I said Harry Winks. Harry Winks, when he had that first season under Poch, till he got that nasty injury against Burnley, he hasn't come back the same. He has not come back the same. It's the odd game he had here and there, but that's enough to talk about Winksy, especially when we're talking Bentancur. Listen, he is a wonderful player, and he is going to be, no matter what goes on in the summer, no matter who we bring in, he is an integral part to anything we want to achieve. Wouldn't you say, Ryan?
Yeah, he'll be like a new signing. Means we won't strengthen. We got Bentancur.
I see what you did there. I like it. I like it. Say something without saying it. Very good. Very good. 10 points to you. Give yourself a pat on the back.
I will.
Was good. That was very, very, very
see
good.
That one coming, did you?
So we'll come to another thing right now. Premier League have made a huge announcement today. There are 2 announcements. Well, first of all, the fixture list is coming out on the 15th of June.
Yep.
Which is the day after your birthday, Ryan.
Yeah,
so we're gonna
I look forward to, because it's always around my birthday.
The one thing, so bang on a week before my birthday and wedding anniversary. But what they are doing is, I was listening. There's going to be a winter break where there's no games between the 13th and 20th of January, and they've also said at Christmas they're not going to have the games that are 48 hours apart from each other. So no team will have like a game and play 48 hours within each other. So first of all, Ryan, if this was it'll come up to your birthday, what would you want as a birthday present to be your first fixture of the season that we get? And how do you feel about that winter break / no real congested Premier League Christmas period?
They've done the winter break before, and instead of a week off for everyone, I think what they did was one, the 10 sides, the 5 fixtures played 1 week and 5 fixtures played the other. So you got that week's break.
Yeah.
And I believe they're still keeping the so you got the Boxing Day fixtures, the fixtures that come directly after that, the 28th.
And
I
then
think
the 31st.
those have been moved to the 30th, 31st, and then you've got your New Year's Day fixtures with the 1st and 2nd. So they've got a little break before then they go bang bang, and then you've got obviously your FA Cup. Who I want to start the season.
Your birthday present. Let's see if we can call it. Yeah. It's your birthday the day before.
Personally, and I would love this because I'd love to go up there during the summer. I'd love Newcastle away. Get the third.
What I was going to say. Because listen, my love for Newcastle. We've spoken about this, and I can't come because of obviously work and whatever, and it's a long trip. But I'm hoping that is the first game, because I love that city. I love that city. And like I said, at summertime, everything. So I'm with you. I would say Newcastle away. We'll see what people in the comments think. If it was your choice, who would you want as your opening day fixture, home or away? And you know what it is with the Christmas period as well, Ryan? I think recently, if you look at it, I think it's an inspired move this season, whether it carries on throughout. But if you look at it, since COVID and when we came back from COVID, when there was that break, then they had to fit loads of games in. Then it was a tournament. Then it was the World Cup in the winter. Then it was you're back. These players haven't had a break.
Yeah.
These players have had, and there's no coincidence that injuries have been piling up, and big key injuries, not just to our team, to everyone. These players need a bit of a break. Is that the gummy bear one still?
Yep, it is still the gummy bear one.
Mate, I'll talk to you about something afterwards about that. But yeah, so I think having this break, all right, we're talking after summer break where they'll get their relaxation. And then I think around that winter time, I think it's a great move. And you also got to remember we will be going into a Euros year.
Yeah,
It'll be 2024. So yeah, all right. So yeah, so I personally think, like you, the way they're doing it, these players, as much as we all enjoy the festive period, it's huge for us. It's huge. It's become a staple in all our lives. I think the break, we got to think about these players at some point, and they have been at it non-stop. We all joke about, they do 2 hours of training and whatever, and they play a game for 90 minutes, but it's relentless for them for the last since COVID, since the return of COVID, and like the break when we started again, and season started in June and then July. So yes,
for about 3 years, and they've had to work absolutely off their.
Yeah, there's been a World Cup, a Euros in that 3 years as well. Yep. So they've condensed 2 tournaments.
Also, during the season like no other, no fans, everyone's in lockdown. They still have to go to work and everything. So that must have been very, tough mentally for them. So
exactly,
they've earned the break. And good luck to them. I hope the break helps Tottenham.
Exactly. Well, the last subject, and this has really heated up today. And obviously, I've heard your voice note you had in our WhatsApp discussion that we have for Tottenham on Tour, where we discuss upcoming shows. Brian Ireland mentioned that this is heated up, and I've seen it being heated up now. Vincent Kompany, this has really heated up. I have to say, when it comes, actually, I'm going to let you go first. When it comes to Vincent Kompany. But before I let you go first, I've got to say, Brian Ireland did message me or us and say, isn't it ironic that Vincent Kompany wasn't on any of our lists when we're doing it yesterday? And I'm going to say, and I'll let you go straight after this, and you'll probably give the same answer and then give your opinion on Vincent. The only reason he did not make my list was because as soon as City becomes available, bye-bye. It was very nice having you. Man City has become available. I'm off. I'm going home. That is the only reason why he didn't make my list, in case he'd be very, very high up on that list. Ryan, your thoughts on Kompany as a manager, as a whatever? Where do you want to go with this rumour?
Yep. Vincent Kompany, well, you're about to say as a player, top 3 centre backs of Premier League history, 100% leader, sets the example, and has taken his mentality of winning things and his mentality of driving a team into management. You've seen that. I'm pretty sure we've all seen that little clip of him when he was Anderlecht manager, absolutely berating his players after a draw.
Was that Anderlecht? I thought that was Burnley.
No, that was Anderlecht.
Oh, was it?
Yep, that was
Okay.
Anderlecht. Obviously, he's taken the step up from Anderlecht to Burnley. He's, we all know what Burnley traditionally are, a hoofball side, and he's turned them into a very, very good footballing side. I wouldn't have him at Tottenham for a similar reason to you, that I think he would jump ship quite quick, which probably wouldn't be the best thing for him to do. I think maybe even then the job might become too big for him. And we know what it's like for legends managing sides. It doesn't tend to work out that well. Look at Frank Lampard at Chelsea, Glenn Hoddle at Tottenham. It doesn't tend to work out the best. All I would say is, if he is our manager, I would welcome him with open arms. I would love the way he speaks. He seems to be very good in the media, and the way he would force his style of play, the way he speaks to the players. It would be his way or the highway. I just think the Tottenham job at this moment in time, we don't know whether it might be a bit too big for him, even in the shit show we are at the moment. I can see him either staying up. I'd like to see what he does in the Premier League, whether that's with Burnley or with another club. I personally would like to see, because what Patrick Vieira was doing at Crystal Palace, I liked what Crystal Palace were going. It's just they didn't stick by it.
Yep.
I personally would like to see Vincent Kompany as the Crystal Palace manager, because sorry, couldn't get my words out right. They have very, very good young players that can play an attractive style of football, like Eze, Elise. Zaha might not be there, which he probably won't be. But they've got players there that Kompany could work with and suit his style of play. So I'd like to see him at that job, or staying at Burnley to see what he can do with Burnley in the Premier League. Because I've said it, it's all fun, nice and games playing football in the Championship when it's, let's face it, it's an entertaining league. It's a brilliant league, but the step up is still the step up. A big step up. So if he does attempt to play football in the Premier League, and it goes tits up, then we can say, well, there you go. It didn't work out in the Premier League, but it'll still be interesting to see, because I think we're all seeing Vincent Kompany as a very, very good manager.
So do you know what? I mean, I'm going to give a bit of an analysis as well. I loved your one, but I'm going to show my age here a bit. I used to always, Vincent Kompany was the first player I always used to buy for every team on Championship Manager. He was like, and we're talking back in the day before Manchester City, when he was this young kid that was being spoken about, really? And I'd heard his name being spoken about, and he just turned out to be like a warrior. That's what I nicknamed him, the Warrior, when I played Championship Manager. And then obviously when he came, you got to remember, he came as a midfielder.
Yes.
To Manchester City. And you saw how seamlessly he made that role. So I knew about Vincent Kompany. Where I'm talking about before, not having a goddamn clue about Bentancur, I was fully aware via Championship Manager who Vincent Kompany was. And you know what I will say about Vincent Kompany as well? Every time I see him, as a human, as a man, as a professional, what a gentleman. What a nice guy. Like, obviously, you've seen that rage that you said when he was manager of Antwerp.
Anderlecht.
I always get those two wrong. But you saw that side of him. But that's in the dressing room, where that's where it is. That's where that kind of... So whenever I've watched him in an interview, and I've told this story before, one of my friends, one of my very, very closest friends in the world, Jerry, I can't remember the connection, but he studied to be an osteopath. And some of the people that he was studying with were on Manchester City's medical team. I can't remember the exact, or had relatives that were on the Manchester City medical team. And in his last season, after being so injured so badly, and getting him through, as a thank you to all the medical team, he paid for the entire medical team and their families, like the kids, their mums, the dad, like to go to any holiday destination they want. First class flights, hotel, everything. And we're talking each medical team person and their families. Different, like not always in one group holiday. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Where? And paid for the lot. Which just goes to show his respect and his admiration and his gratitude for this. As a player, I mean, I agree with you with the top three. I think he's the real deal. He is when we're talking about the Premier League Hall of Fame, this guy is going in it. This guy is incredible. Do you know what? What you saw in that brawl with the manager?
Mhm.
I want to see that to Eric Dyer. I want to see Eric Dyer try and stand up to Vincent Kompany and go, "Duh, duh, 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 duh," and he'll go, "Mate, what have you done? This is just one season. I've won this. Been the captain for my country, my club, my this, and that." I think what you and again, what you got to remember as well, Burnley. What you have to remember as well have recently been taken over by an American ownership. So not only has he changed their style of football, he's had to do with new owners now. With new owners, they either come in and they set the world alight like some, or there's and he's been allowed to do what he does. And if you watch again the way that chairman speaks about Vincent Kompany once he's got the promotion at Borough, the admiration, the love, like what he did. I think this guy is destined for the top in management, just like he was a player. Some of these players, I know you said Frank Lampard, and some of these top players don't make it in management, but some of them bloody well do. And I think Vincent Kompany is bang on that. And you know what? And I don't know because I haven't watched any, because I've been at work, I haven't watched any other channels or content that's been talking about Kompany. I don't know if it's been spoken about, but there's a driving force behind this, and his name is Yaya Toure. I mean, for me, I think there are big talk going on endorsing what this man is. And you've got Yaya.
That would be a link then between the academy up to the first team, which is
So
what Spurs fans do want. We want that alignment between the academy.
Well, this is the thing, Ryan. What we were saying yesterday, and what we've been saying as well, with the director of football or with Scott Munn coming in, the chief director of football chief footballing operator. You want that synergy. You want that so it filters through. So there is a structure, not all that fucking nonsense. But I think, did you like that? But I think Yaya Toure is a driving force behind this. There's obviously discussions. There are obviously talks going on. I don't know if the whole wider, but you know that Yaya Toure may be talking to Spurs, like, get this guy in. If you want a winner, if you want a skipper, if you want a guy that's been there, done it, will conduct himself, knows how to talk to players, will get the football. And then you look at it, he's probably talking to Kompany going, oh, skip, and feeding him what he. I think behind the scenes and what is really, I mean, I obviously this is just my opinion. I don't have facts or whatever, but I think what isn't getting mentioned, like I said, I haven't watched any other content, so I don't know if it's been spoken about. But for me, Yaya Toure is all over this. And I've got a big thing. I mean, had you thought of that link there, Ryan? Or when I said it, you're like, oh, do you know what?
No, I obviously knew about it, but the more I think about it, it does make a lot of sense just because it would be a start towards there being a link between the club. And that's what we need to take that next step forward, or the first step forward.
I mean, I like I said, the reason he was not on my list, I said Frank, Arne Slot, and then Poster, Celtic boss, because I'm not going to butcher it again. I think, honestly, Frank still stays at number one for me. Kompany would go in at 2 or 3, and I'd get rid of one of those two. But the only reason he isn't is
when it's City come calling, he is
that's
jumping.
the whole thing. Listen, from what I know with Glenn Hoddle had it in his contract wherever he went that if Tottenham come, you let me go. Like you agree a fee. There was like a fee, but like if Tottenham come, then and you know for a fact there's talk. Well, you know if Manchester City, like Frank Lampard did go to Chelsea straight away, and we all know that if Klopp had left Liverpool, and Gerrard was still at Rangers, you know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, and Gerrard would say, and you can't fault them. Listen, you cannot fault.
It's their club.
If Vincent Kompany was our manager, and then that Man City job came and he went, I'd be annoyed, especially if we were doing really, really well with him. But you can't fault him for doing that. Like I said, I was one of the people in the summer said, you know what, Bastoni, I applaud you for staying loyal. You said Inter's your club, and you all right. We didn't make a bid. See, I can say something without saying something as well. 1-1. 1-1.
I'm about to make it 2-1.
All right, we'll keep going. But this is the thing: you can't fault players like Glenn Hoddle, like you said with us, like Teddy Sheringham when he came the first time. It was like, this is Spurs. You can't fault it. But Vincent Kompany, I would if he put it this way, I spoke about how much I didn't want Poch right now under these owners. I would take Kompany in a heartbeat. And I think Yaya Toure is the driving force behind this. Go on, make it 2-1. How are you going to make it 2-1, brother?
One simple thing. If Kompany does join, then obviously, and there's something with Manchester City in the contract, he's going to want a gentleman's agreement.
Do you know what? You and I could do. I'm going to let you win 2-1, but I'm going to have the final laugh and make it 2-2 at the end. Ryan, listen, brother, it has been an absolute pleasure finally getting you on Cockerel Doodle Doo. We will do more together.
Yes, we shall.
Guys, listen, I want to hear your comments. Ryan and I have discussed today Udogie escaping his car crash, the Premier League fixtures, Bentancur making progress, and obviously Kompany. Now, leave a comment about anything you want to discuss. I will get back to them eventually. But the most important one was Kompany, and who would you want for your opening day fixture? So thank you very much for watching, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, Levy out. 2-2.